What's up, folks? Welcome back to another video. Welcome to the channel. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like button down below. And if this is your first time on the channel, hit that subscribe button with the notification bell so you get notified every time I bring a brand new video. All right, guys, so let's get right into it. So we got a quick video from Larry Elder kind of talking about the differences between conservatism and, liberalism, or being a Democrat or Republican. And the main thing that he's going to point out is their contribution to the people, basically. And because as most people in the society, if you were to ask them, walk up to them and say, hey, who do you believe is the most compassionate? Who do you believe does the most for the people? Who do you believe gives the most, spends the most time with people? And they're all going to say the Democrats, the liberals, the progressives, they're the most compassionate. And that's been a myth, and it's been debunked many times. He's kind of going to explain that, and let's just watch it together and see what he says.
I have a physical therapist. We don't usually talk about politics, but I know she's left-wing. But for some reason, the last session, we started talking about politics. And she said, conservatives, they're so selfish. They only care about themselves. They only care about money. That's why I am a liberal. Now, when your physical therapist is administering pain to you, you're kind of reluctant to tick her off. But at some point, I couldn't take it. I said, what is your basis for saying that? She said, well, they're just selfish.
Why?
I said, this has been studied. There's a book called Who Really Cares by a guy named Arthur C. Brooks. And Arthur C. Brooks was not a conservative. He was a public policy professor at Syracuse University. He wanted to do a paper on something people haven't done before, and he was shocked to find out nobody had ever done an extensive study on whether or not liberals or conservatives were more generous with their time, with their money. And he was shocked to find out that conservatives, by far, give more money, give more time than do liberals. And my therapist said, well, that's because conservatives have more money. And I said, actually, the average conservative household is 6% less wealthy than the average liberal household. You're just wrong. And she was shocked. And I said, years ago, I was getting my hair cut. I get my hair cut at a barber shop / beauty parlor. And a lady next to me was going on and on and on about how selfish Republicans and conservatives were. She didn't know who I was. Otherwise, I would imagine she would have been a little more cautious. I started not to intervene. I was just there to get my hair cut. I work for a living. And sometimes I want to take the day off, but I couldn't take it. And I turned to her and I said, excuse me, do you have any idea who gives more money and gives more time to charity, Republicans versus Democrats, liberals versus conservatives? She said, oh, Democrats give more time. Democrats give more charity. Liberals give more time. Liberals give more charity. I said, actually, it's been studied. There's a book called Who Really Cares by a man named Arthur Brooks. And he was shocked because he thought the same thing you thought. He grew up in a non-political household. He wasn't liberal. He wasn't conservative. He was just kind of in the middle. But he just knew intuitively that Democrats were more generous with their time, with their money. He was shocked to find out it was the opposite. And in many instances, it isn't even close. And there are a couple of reasons. The first reason is that conservatives are more religious than liberals. And religious people give a lot more of their time and a lot more of their money to charity. The other thing is this. Most conservatives believe that government ought not be involved in welfare, and they talk the talk and walk the walk by donating money that they feel government shouldn't be doing because they feel that individuals and nonprofits should be doing it.
Boom.
And after I told her all of that, she said, oh, that's because Republicans have more money. Same as you just now said. And I said, actually, that's also been studied. The average liberal household has about 6% more money than the average conservative household. She was shocked. And by the way, for optics, happened to be a white female. In walks a black female. I said, excuse me, this young lady and I are having a conversation about who's more generous with their time and with their money, liberals or conservatives. What's your opinion? She said, oh, liberals are. By far. They're more generous. They're more caring. I said, actually, it's been studied. There's a book called Who Really Cares, and I went down the whole litany with her as I did with the other young lady. And she said, oh, that's because conservatives have more money. I said, actually, that's been studied too. They have less money. They're just more generous. She too was shocked. Here's a report on the book, Who Really Cares? And I'm quoting, religious people are givers. Religious observance is a key predictor of generosity. People who attend church weekly are 25 percentage points more likely to give money and 23 points more likely to volunteer than people who rarely attend. They give 350% more money and volunteer 200% more time despite not having higher household incomes. Notably, this giving was not just to religious charities and causes. Their support of entirely secular charities and voluntary associations is also comparably higher. End of quote. My therapist then said, well, the reason I'm a liberal is because of health care. I just think health care is important, don't you? I said, of course it's important. And I said, the best way to ensure better health care, better quality, better accessibility is through competition. And she said, yeah, but what about people who are really poor? And I said, what about donations? What about charity? That's what people are for. I said, there's a book called The Tragedy of American Compassion, written by a guy named Marvin Olasky, and he looked at the Great Depression when FDR rolled out the New Deal. And he found out that people that were eligible for charity but didn't take it either because of pride or because they were able to figure out getting money from their friends or family or somehow figured it out, versus those that took charity, over the long haul, the ones that avoided government charity were better off. It turned out government charity created dependence. This gentleman looked at both those books, Who Really Cares and The Tragedy of American Compassion.
I mean, you can't argue with that. You cannot argue with those facts. But the thing is, you first have to come across an open-minded liberal, somebody that's literally willing to sit down with you and have these conversations, look at the data with you, show, so you can show them the facts. And they're not even going to be willing to do that anyway. But you can't argue with nothing that he just said. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree. Leave a comment down below. Make sure you hit that like button down below and the subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.